Gary Neville's live reaction after being told about Andre Onana's Man United howler. Gary Neville was busy commentating on the Merseyside Derby between Everton and Liverpool when his mood was changed immediately by a score update from Manchester United. Gary Neville's reaction to Sheffield United opener against Manchester United says it all. Gary Neville reacted with shock after hearing that Manchester United had gone behind at home to Sheffield United while commentating on the Merseyside Derby. Neville was on co-commentary duties for Sky Sports on Wednesday night at Goodison Park, but still managed to have his evening ruined by news from Old Trafford. United were hosting the Premier League's bottom side, hoping to get their confidence back up after surrendering a 3-0 lead against Coventry at Wembley on Sunday, but things did not go to plan. Andre Onana was guilty of a dreadful pass out from the back, which gave the ball straight to Jadon Bogle. With United's defence split to give passing options, Bogle was then allowed a free run forward into the box to pick his spot and make it 1-0 to the away side. It was a dreadful error, and even though he could not see the goal, it still caused former United defender Neville some discomfort just hearing about it. Told of the scoreline by his commentary partner Peter Drury, Neville said, "Oh my God. And I was enjoying this." He was enjoying things at Goodison Park because he was watching Everton lead Liverpool thanks to Jared Branthwaite's first half goal. And things did improve for Neville, with Harry Maguire equalising for United from Alejandro Garnacho's low cross before the half-time break. Things seemed to revert to terrible for United shortly after half-time when Ben Brereton Diaz put Sheffield United back ahead from Ben Osborne's cutback. But thankfully for Neville, United did turn things around, with Bruno Fernandes netting a penalty to make it 2-2 before smashing it a long-range effort to give them the lead. Rasmus Højlund added another late on to add gloss to the scoreline, and send Neville home happy. Anything but victory would have been a huge shock for United, who sat 7th in the Premier League ahead of kick-off, having won just one of their last 7 league games. Victory moved them up to 6th, past Newcastle, who were beaten 2-0 away at informed Crystal Palace. Manchester United's difficult week looked like it could continue on Wednesday night as they took on Sheffield United in the Premier League as pressure mounts on manager Erik ten Hag over his future at Old Trafford. Calls for the United boss to be sacked only grew following Sunday's FA Cup semi-final win over Coventry City. The Reds went from being 3-0 up against championship opposition before escaping a huge cup exit on penalties. Ten Hag has since defended his players following criticism of their performance at Wembley Stadium. On Wednesday, United had the chance to respond to Sunday's bizarre events against rock-bottom Sheffield United. With a chance to move above Newcastle in the Europa League spots in the Premier League table, Ten Hag's side fell behind at Old Trafford. Jadon Bogle put the Blades ahead following a huge mistake by goalkeeper Andre Onana. An attempted pass to Diogo Dalot was intercepted by Bogle before the former Derby County man opened the scoring. During Sky Sports coverage of Everton vs Liverpool, Peter Drury provided an update on the scoreline in Manchester alongside Gary Neville. And the former Reds defender's reaction summed up the probable feeling among the United fan base. He said while on co-commentary at Goodison Park, "Oh my God. I was actually enjoying this." United levelled before half-time through Harry Maguire's second goal in successive games, before Ben Brereton Diaz put the away side back in the lead 5 minutes after the break. Gary Neville reacted with shock after hearing that Manchester United had gone behind at home to Sheffield United while commentating on the Merseyside Derby. Neville was on co-commentary duties for Sky Sports on Wednesday night at Goodison Park, but still managed to have his evening ruined by news from Old Trafford. United were hosting the Premier League's bottom side, hoping to get their confidence back up after surrendering a 3-0 lead against Coventry at Wembley on Sunday, but things did not go to plan. Andre Onana was guilty of a dreadful pass out from the back, which gave the ball straight to Jadon Bogle. With United's defence split to give passing options, Bogle was then allowed a free run forward into the box to pick his spot and make it 1-0 to the away side. It was a dreadful error, and even though he could not see the goal, it still caused former United defender Neville some discomfort just hearing about it. Told of the scoreline by his commentary partner Peter Drury, Neville said, "Oh my God. And I was enjoying this." He was enjoying things at Goodison Park because he was watching Everton lead Liverpool thanks to Jared Branthwaite's first half goal. And things did improve for Neville, with Harry Maguire equalising for United from Alejandro Garnacho's low cross before the half-time break. Nevertheless, anything but victory will be a huge shock for United, who sit 7th in the Premier League ahead of kickoff and have won just one of their last 7 league games. When are you going to employ Zidane? Sir Jim Ratcliffe questioned as Man United make manager call. Manchester United manager latest season asked key question from an unlikely source. Erik ten Hag should stay as Manchester United manager if he wins the FA Cup with a terrible football, but Zinedine Zidane is the one man who Sir Jim Ratcliffe should have on speed dial if he doesn't. That's the view of former United forward Dwight Yorke as ten Hag's job continues to come under the microscope after an underwhelming campaign. The Red Devils scraped into the FA Cup final on Sunday with a fortunate penalty shootout win over Coventry City at Wembley. Having led 3-0 after an hour against the Championship side, an embarrassing collapse saw Coventry draw level and take the game to extra time, before seemingly scoring a last-gasp winner only for VAR to chalk it out. United eventually progressed via spot kicks to set up a second successive All-Manchester Cup final. However, the manner of the win, and the shambolic performances at times this season, which see United down in 7th in the table and in danger of producing their worst finish since the Premier League was created, have increased the calls for ten Hag to be sacked. The Manchester Evening News reported back in February that Ineos and new co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe were assessing ten Hag's suitability, and that of other managers, to lead the club forward. A number of potential managers have been assessed, but with no obvious replacement yet for ten Hag, the Dutchman could limp on to the end of the season. One manager linked with the job is France legend Zidane. He led Real Madrid to 3 Champions League triumphs, but is out of work and has been tipped to become Bayern Munich's new head coach, replacing Thomas Tuchel. Yorke, however, believes Ratcliffe should be speaking to Zidane to try and tempt him to Old Trafford. Asked by the Men what he would ask Ratcliffe if he had one question, Yorke said, "The one question I'd want to ask Sir Jim Ratcliffe is, when are you going to employ Zinedine Zidane? I'd like to ask who he'd like as a manager. Zidane is an exceptional manager and has done it at one of the biggest clubs in the world. There aren't many elite managers out there, and not a lot of them are good enough to manage a club the size of Man United. Erik ten Hag and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are good managers, but not good enough. Man United need that exceptional quality." However, Yorke, speaking on behalf of TV Sport Guide, believes ten Hag could still have a future at Old Trafford, but only if he can lift the FA Cup against Pep Guardiola and Man City on May 25th. It would represent a second trophy for the Dutchman, after the Carabao Cup win last season. For me, as a manager, if you come in and have a possibility of winning 2 trophies in 2 years, most managers would be happy and people would think they're doing a great job, Yorke added. Winning the FA Cup should save your job and give you more time. Football is a results business, so managers should keep their jobs if they deliver trophies. But Man United have not been good this season, competing for the top 6 in the league and being knocked out of the Champions League group stage is not great. If Erik ten Hag won the FA Cup and makes it 2 trophies in 2 years, even with terrible football which is not the Man United way, I think it might just save his job. Zinedine Zidane almost certainly on Man United manager list. Manchester United will, almost certainly, have Zinedine Zidane on their managerial succession planning list at Old Trafford. Manchester United will, almost certainly, have Zinedine Zidane on their managerial succession planning list, as journalist Ben Jacobs evaluates how much that would impact his chance